You can't force attraction. But you can create moments that make her think about you when you're not there. Here's the brutal truth. If you have to talk too much just to earn respect, then you're already not respected. No strong man needs to explain his value. No man with presence has to beg for attention. Yet so many men out there live inside a painful paradox. The more they talk, the harder they try, the more they prove themselves. The further women pull away, the colder they become, the more they treat those men as disposable. You've been in this feeling before, haven't you? You freeze up when all eyes are on you. You text her first every time. She replies whenever she feels like it. You feel invisible even when you're right there. You're there, you care, you show up, but she doesn't truly see you. And the most painful thing for a man isn't being rejected outright. It's being treated like a temporary replacement, a backup option, a name that only gets remembered when there's no one else. Today, we're talking about how to make women respect you without saying a single word, not with dating tricks, not with sweet talk, but with the psychological position of a real man. Why are there men who walk into a room, barely say anything, yet everyone listens? Why are there men who disappear for a few days, no explanations, no excuses, yet suddenly women start thinking about them more? And why are there men who explain more, cling harder, and act nicer, yet lose more and more respect? The answer lies in 3 words: presence, scarcity, contrast. Presence isn't about just being there. Presence means every time you show up, you carry weight. Scarcity isn't about playing hard to get. Scarcity means your life is so full that you don't need to always be available for anyone. Contrast isn't a cheap psychological game. Contrast is the tension between being able to be there and not being dependent on being there. Women don't respect men who cling. Women respect men who are self-directed. And ironically, that self-direction is exactly what creates attraction. If you've ever felt like you've done too much, but still weren't valued. If you've ever felt like you talked a lot, but were never truly heard, leave 1 word in the comments: awake. Not to prove anything to anyone, but to remind yourself that it's time to change how you stand in this world. In the next part, I'll break down the deepest psychological mechanisms behind why silence carries weight, and why a man's real value is always spoken through action, not words. Let's go straight into the feeling that so many men live with, but nobody teaches them how to escape. You enter a relationship with sincerity, with the desire to be recognized, to be loved, to be respected. But day by day, you find yourself talking more, explaining more, lowering yourself more. And in return, you get colder responses, diminishing regard, indifference. Feel invisible even when you're right there. You don't disappear, but you fade. And the scariest thing is this: you're still there, still trying, still hoping, while respect has quietly slipped away without you even noticing. You start measuring your worth by how she replies to your messages. You rise when she shows interest and crash when she pulls away. You text her first every time. She replies whenever she feels like it. You don't realize that the moment your emotional state depends on another person's reaction, that's the moment you place yourself beneath them. Not because she is cruel, but because human psychology instinctively respects the center, not the satellite. This is where psychology strips away the illusion. Women don't respect men because of their words. They respect men because of the sense of position those men create in the space around them. Presence isn't about whether you're physically there. Presence is about whether the room changes when you enter it. If you walk into a room and nothing shifts, no one reacts then, in their subconscious, you carry no weight. Then comes scarcity. The human brain is not wired to value what is always available. The easier something is to access, the cheaper it feels. When you always reply instantly, always seem free, always say okay, always wait. Guys, you are subconsciously telling her brain, I have nothing more important than you. And when a man has nothing more important than a woman in her subconscious, he is no longer a man worthy of respect. Contrast is the final piece. Weak men live flat lives. Every day feels the same. Every reaction is the same. Always gentle, always enduring, always I understand. But the female brain is stimulated by contrast, by unpredictability, by tension between presence and absence, between closeness and distance. When you become completely predictable, dopamine in her brain shuts off. And when dopamine dies, respect dies with it. Now we've reached the most important part. If you want respect without saying a word, you must change your posture of life, not your speaking skills. The first step is to stop emotionally reacting instantly. Don't reply right away just because you fear losing her. Don't explain just because you fear being misunderstood. Don't sacrifice all your time and attention just to buy a few seconds of validation. A respected man is a man who doesn't react immediately, not because he plays games, but because he has his own rhythm. The second step is to rebuild real scarcity by filling your life. Train while it hurts, work while you're tired. Build while others rest. When your schedule becomes full, you no longer need to pretend to be busy, you actually are busy. When scarcity is real, the human brain will automatically recalibrate how it sees you. The third step is to step out of the role of the guy who's always there. Don't be a 24/7 emotional support system for anyone, especially for someone who doesn't choose you. A man with value doesn't carry the emotional weight of the world. He chooses where to invest his energy. And where there is no respect, he withdraws in silence. The final step is to direct all your focus back to yourself. Your body speaks before your mouth does. Your discipline speaks before your explanations do. Your finances, your goals, your standards, your boundaries, these communicate with the world more powerfully than any words ever could. Women don't respect what you promise. They respect what you embody every day. The cold truth is this: the man who has to talk to earn respect is the man who doesn't yet carry enough weight. When you carry weight, you don't need to persuade. You don't need to explain. You don't need to prove. You don't need to beg. Your presence alone sets the standard. And by now, you may be realizing an uncomfortable but necessary truth. Women don't disrespect you because they're bad. They disrespect you because you placed yourself in a lesser position for too long. And precisely because of that, you can also place yourself back where you belong. In the end, the real question is no longer, how do I make her respect me? The real question is, are you living like a man who deserves respect? Because the truth is, no one can give you what you refuse to give yourself. Remember these core principles. Respect doesn't come from how well you speak. It comes from how well you command your life. When you stop reacting to other people's emotions, you reclaim your power. When you stop being always available, you reclaim your value. When you walk away from places that offer no respect, you reclaim your dignity. And when you place your goals above your need for attention, you begin to live as a man with a center. Women do not respect begging. They respect standards. Women are not attracted to men who always explain. They're attracted to men who live by their standards, whether anyone understands them or not. You don't need to be cold. You don't need to become a bad boy. You only need to be a man with boundaries, discipline, direction, and the ability to walk away when necessary. That alone is enough for the world to start seeing you differently. Burn this into your mind. Attraction doesn't come from chasing someone. It comes from others seeing that you're chasing a life bigger than them. When that happens, you won't need to say a single word. People will feel your weight. If this video hit you, leave one word in the comments. Center. To remind yourself that from today on, you choose to live from your center as a man, not orbit around other people's attention anymore. And if you're ready to leave your weaker version behind, subscribe to this channel. Here we don't chase attention, we build value.